It is a curious thing, the way the mind fixates on a closed door, as if the very act of it being shut makes the room behind it more precious than any open space we currently inhabit. When we find ourselves chasing someone who ignores us, we are often dancing with a ghost of our own creation, a version of that person that we have painted with the colors of our own unmet needs. It begins subtly, perhaps with a message left unread or a conversation that feels one-sided. And instead of turning away, something deep within us sparks into a frantic kind of life. This is often the work of the dopamine system, that ancient part of the brain designed to keep us seeking, searching, and hunting for rewards. Psychologically, we are prone to what is known as intermittent reinforcement, a phenomenon where a reward is given only occasionally and unpredictably. It is the same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. If the person always ignored us, we might eventually tire and walk away. But it is that one occasional reply, that fleeting moment of warmth or that rare smile that keeps us hooked. We begin to gamble with our emotions, placing our self-worth on the table and hoping that this time the wheels will stop on a confirmation of our value. We tell ourselves that if we can just say the right thing or be the right version of ourselves, the door will swing open. This creates a powerful illusion of control, where we believe that the other person's silence is a puzzle we are meant to solve, rather than a boundary we should respect. We look into the mirror of their indifference, and instead of seeing them, we see our own perceived inadequacies, wondering what we lack that makes us so easy to overlook. But the truth is often much more internal, rooted in the attachment styles we developed long ago, in the quiet hallways of our childhoods. For those with an anxious attachment style, silence feels like a threat to survival, a cold wind that signals abandonment. The chase becomes a way to regulate that anxiety, a frantic effort to reestablish a connection so the world feels safe again. We are not necessarily chasing the person as they truly are, with all their flaws and complexities, but rather chasing the relief that their validation would bring. It is a heavy burden to place on another human being, and an even heavier one to carry ourselves. As we drift into this reflection, we might notice how the body feels when it is in the middle of a chase, the tightness in the chest, the way the eyes constantly dart toward a phone, the shallow breath that never quite reaches the bottom of the lungs. It is a state of constant high alert, a survival mode that drains our energy and dims our light. But imagine for a moment what happens when we simply stop. Imagine the profound silence that follows when we quit knocking on a door that isn't opening. At first, it might feel like a void, a frightening emptiness that makes us want to reach out again just to fill the space. But if we sit with that silence, if we let it settle around us like a soft blanket, we begin to realize that the silence is not a void at all, but a sanctuary. It is the space where we can finally hear our own thoughts again, away from the noise of longing and the static of uncertainty. We start to see that the person who ignores us is actually giving us a strange kind of gift, the gift of our own time and energy back. When they do not occupy the center of our world, we are free to move back into that center ourselves. We can begin to explore the landscape of our own lives, the hobbies we neglected, the friends who have always been there, and the quiet dreams that were drowned out by the sound of our own pursuing footsteps. It is a slow process, a gentle untangling of our identity from the approval of another. We learn that our value is not a variable that changes based on someone else's attention, but a constant, like the North Star, steady and bright, regardless of the clouds that might pass in front of it. There is a certain beauty in the realization that we do not have to earn our place in someone's heart. The people who truly belong in our lives will meet us halfway, with a stride that matches our own. They will not require us to run until we are breathless. As we think about this, we can feel the muscles in our shoulders begin to drop, the tension in our jaw dissolving as if it were never there.
We are learning the art of emotional sovereignty, the understanding that we are the keepers of our own peace. The chase was never about the other person. It was a journey toward understanding our own depths, a way of discovering where we were still seeking external permission to be whole. Now that permission is being granted from within. The mind, which was once a whirlpool of what-ifs and if-onlys, starts to become a still lake, reflecting the quiet beauty of the present moment. We are no longer looking toward a horizon that never arrives, but grounding ourselves in the here and now. The air feels cooler, the bed feels softer, and the rhythm of our own heart feels like a reliable friend. We are coming home to ourselves, and it is the most peaceful homecoming imaginable. In this space, there is no need for labels, no need for explanations, and certainly no need for the frantic energy of the hunt. There is only the breath, moving in and out, a slow and steady tide that carries us further away from the shore of our past obsessions and out into the deep, calm waters of self-acceptance. We are safe here. We are enough. The silence of the world is no longer a rejection, but a lullaby, inviting us to close our eyes and trust that we are exactly where we need to be. Every part of us, from the tips of our toes to the crown of our head, is being invited to rest, to let go of the stories we told ourselves about why we weren't being chosen, and simply to choose ourselves instead. This is the ultimate victory, the quietest and most profound one, where we stop seeking ourselves in the eyes of those who cannot see us, and finally look at ourselves with the kindness and clarity we have always deserved. Sleep now, knowing that the chase is over, and the rest you find tonight is a reflection of the peace you have finally allowed yourself to have. The world is quiet, the night is long, and you are held in the gentle embrace of your own becoming. There is nothing left to do, nowhere left to run, and no one left to convince.